from drowning. And so Nick Junior, it's for juniors. The Nick. Nick sounds like a name, like Nicholas. Nick sounds like Nicholas. But it's not. It's short for Nickelodeon, which is a word which you don't hear a lot in the English language. When it was the last time you've heard the word Nickelodeon and it did not mean the TV channel? I don't think you hear that word a lot. So let's search for something called Nickelodeon meaning on the famous search engine called Google. So the definition of Nickelodeon is a jukebox, originally one operated by the insertion of a nickel coin. Did you know that? Did you know that it's a jukebox? What's a jukebox, you ask me? Well, it's a device, it's a machine that plays your favorite song after you pay it by inserting a nickel coin. A nickel coin. Nickel is some kind of a metal, right? So Nickelodeon. Oh, that suddenly makes a lot of sense. So Nickel Junior too. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. The Nickel Junior too. Nickel, a nickel coin Junior. Nickel. So it's a jukebox where you put in a nickel coin. Interesting. There's another meaning to it. It means a second thing, historical. A cinema with an admission fee of 1 nickel. Huh. So it stems from the word nickel. Like here's your Nickelback. The singer Nickelback, he's related to Nickelodeon in a way, in a funny way if you think about it. So we've got Blaze again, and I'm gonna get motion sick again from his various movements. Too rapid movements, like I'm getting dizzy just by looking at him. So he's everywhere. Like this thing is insane. So we've got nice, good old-fashioned cards, Nickelodeon, and Digby Dragon, which I like. I like how it looks. I like the frame rate per second, FPS. Everything is done pretty well. It hides the drawbacks of CGI animation by limiting the frame rate. At least I think that's why they do it. Or maybe they do it because it's like cheaper to render it or something, right? Like it renders faster. I don't know why they do it, why they use such a low frame rate per second, but it enhances the viewing experience actually. Oh yeah, I could like one day search for why they like search on Google or on YouTube or Bing or whatever, DuckDuckGo, what I could search why some CGI cartoons have limited frames per second. Like the answer is something I would like to know. And so far I'm only like guessing, and I guess the most plausible answer is that when they create some kind of CGI animation and then they need to save it in movie form, it takes forever to render, right? You need expensive computers. So it takes a lot less time to render like 10 frames per second than it would to render like 30 frames per second, right? It would be 3 times faster. So if you need to wait like, I don't know, 2 days for it to render, right, with 10 frames per second, you would need like 6 days, right? So it saves you a lot of days. And if you're like pumping out a lot of episodes, it might be a huge save, yeah. I don't know though. I don't really know. Maybe they do it on purpose because they know the movements are not very good looking, and they can mask them somehow. And it kind of looks more like clay animation, which I like. So yeah, maybe they're trying to go for that clay animation look. I don't know. It's something we need to look up and ask them. I mean, they could be doing it to save time on rendering and saving the video, and the side effect would be that it looks better. We can we don't know why exactly they do it, but we can see what effects it has. So we see mountains and trees and fairies and elves and all that stuff here on this continuity with Peppa Pig jumping and whatever her name is. I guess Holly. Most likely, this is most likely Holly because she's got a wand in her hand, and usually not everybody has a wand. Only the most important people have wands. And so, I mean, if she's got to be important, right? And also, usually the most important people have their names in the title of the show. So Holly has to be important, right? So I'm assuming this is Holly, even though I don't know. Maybe that's somebody else, though. So a life vest, a life jacket, no. A stray jacket, no. What is that called again? The thing we saw on the screen. Safe. I'm just gonna guess and Google stuff. Safety ring. I'm just gonna look at pictures. What's a safety ring? No, that's rescue swimming pool safety ring. Is it really called a safety life something? Boat? No. Safety ring float. Apparently, it's called a safety ring. I actually guessed what it's called, or maybe not. Weird. But I googled for safety ring, and it found exactly the same picture I was thinking of. So I was thinking maybe it has something